Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Guy Next podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Baldwin, and my co-host Donovan Moore.
We back at it, man.
Yeah, man. And today we got much to talk about. Kevin Durant requesting a trade. That's probably the main thing that we're going to focus on today because that's definitely going to be probably the biggest news of free agency. Barring anybody else, any other stars asking out. So today we're just going to be talking about the Kevin Durant trade. What it means for the Nets, what it means for KD, potential landing spots for KD, and then potential landing spots for Kyrie Irving as well. So hope you guys like the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And let's get into the intro.
You ready, Playboy?
Yo, turn it up, Sly. I can't hear nothing.
All right, man. So first and foremost, man, I think I watched a lot of talk shows today, because everybody's talking about the Kevin Durant stuff. And, one question I think that they didn't really ask a lot that I think should definitely be touched on here is how did we get here, bro? How did this happen? How did KD just automatically, request a trade? Like, well, what are your thoughts on how we got here to this moment?
Honestly, I really do not know. I really do not know because everybody was under the impression, I'm sure, that Kyrie was going to be traded or Kyrie just wasn't going to opt into his deal. And then KD, we would kind of figure out KD's fate from there. But after Kyrie opted back in there, I was just thinking like, oh, okay, Brooklyn probably going to try to add a couple pieces, see what they can do with a full year of both of them.
And
But
then run it back. Exactly. We were like, everybody expected them to run it back. And then they just KD 2 days later after Kyrie opts in, he's like, damn, I don't want to be here no more.
I'm not gonna lie, that might have caught me more off guard than when he signed with Golden State, to tell you the truth.
I agree. I was just shocked in the moment,
To
man.
tell you the truth, I feel like that caught me more off guard than when he signed with Golden State. That was just random.
Why do you say that?
Because it's like, when's the last time we seen like a superstar like that like request a trade?
4 years on a 4-year deal, 4-year contract. I can't tell you. Like
I mean,
this is
maybe you could say Melo when he wanted to get out of Denver, but
yeah.
people knew he was going to leave Denver
I mean,
eventually.
yeah, at the same time, yeah. People kind of knew eventually Melo wasn't going to be
Yeah,
there. This is different because
yeah,
going to run it back, and then that just didn't happen. So yeah,
yeah.
shocking for sure, absolutely shocking. But what is the biggest factor here that you think?
Mm. It's really tough to say. It's really tough to say because on one hand you could maybe say the coaching, but at the same time you can't say coaching because that's who they wanted as their coach. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know because Kyrie said he was coming back. They just added Ben Simmons. Joe Harris was going to be healthy. They got Seth Curry. Like they just needed a big man, and that's not a bad team at all. Like as long as you got KD and Kyrie, and then they got shooters around them, that was not a bad team. So I really cannot tell you. Maybe I guess the uncertainty of maybe Kyrie leaves after next year and then I'm still here for like another 3 years or something like that. I couldn't tell you.
I've heard people blame the organization, and I'm like, how can you blame the organization who did
And that was
everything Kevin Durant and Kyrie asked them to do? And literally everything to a T. They were starting DeAndre Jordan way past his prime. He's probably one of the worst players in the NBA. And they brought him in, paid him, and were like, Kenny Atkinson didn't want to start him. They wanted to start Jared Allen, who's clearly the better player. And then
right.
KD and Kyrie were like, no, we want DeAndre Jordan starting. And then they fired Kenny Atkinson, who had built the entire Nets basically identity at that point. He
Yeah.
was the reason D'Angelo
So,
Russell and them and made the first round of the playoffs. Like
so
yeah. So they got rid of their whole other regime and brought in DeAndre Jordan and all that. Like just completely listen to KD and Kyrie. So like it can't be on the organization. It can't be. But we'll touch on that later. Next up, we got where do you see KD going and why do you see him going there? Why is that a good fit? So I know for me, personally, I'm gonna say either Miami or I can't say Phoenix because they're gonna have to get rid of Devin Booker, and I don't think that's not gonna, it's not gonna be a great team if they get rid of Devin Booker and probably other stuff as well. So Miami is probably the only team I have right now, probably, and then maybe the Celtics. I could kind of see the Celtics because they might get rid of Jalen Brown and a few other guys, and they are really deep as a team. They got a few things that they can, put some pieces that they can put together in a package. So I like that. The Celtics and the Heat. So what's some places that you think?
Um, Celtics isn't a bad one. That is not a bad option at all.
What do the optics look like if KD, leaves? He leaves the Thunder to go to the Warriors, the team he lost to, and then he leaves the Nets to go to the Celtics, the team he lost to. Like, what does that say about KD at that point? Like, it's crazy, bro. It's
yeah,
insane.
that would be crazy. Like, I don't know. I feel like he has to go somewhere where it's like it's still a challenge. Like,
Yeah,
there has to be some teams he has to go to get there. I wouldn't even be surprised if he went to Philly.
I've heard that. Too.
I've seen Philly. Philly would be that'd be crazy with him and Embiid and Harden. I'm not gonna lie. It would suck to have to give up Maxey. Maxey's a really solid young player, but I mean that's
I'm
Kevin
giving
Durant.
him away. I'm throwing him at the Nets.
Yeah, that's Kevin Durant. That's
Yeah.
Kevin Durant. There's
We
nothing.
got PJ Tucker, and the Sixers look really good on paper right now. I can't lie to you. The Sixers look
Yeah,
like a really good team on paper without KD. So yeah, I could see him, going to the
exactly.
Sixers as well. I like that. Any other teams you're thinking about?
I can't really think. This is just such a tough one. 'Cause it's like he's not gonna go somewhere where there's obviously no chance they can win a championship.
Right, and then that's another thing I hate about this whole free agency thing. Like people act as if the Nets are actually going to send him to like the Thunder or something like that. Like
Nah,
they're not. Like the Nets, to me, they don't have much leverage in this situation. Like everyone knows you have to get rid of Kevin Durant this season. You have to get rid of him this offseason. And like you can't send him anywhere because that's Kevin Durant. Like most places, like imagine you're the Indiana Pacers and you call the Nets and you're like, yeah, let me get Kevin Durant. Like even if you get him, he's not staying there, bro. Like he will not be there. It'll be a Kawhi Leonard situation. He'll be there one season at most, and then like get out the next season. So like the Pacers aren't really looking to, get like a lot of the small market teams that they know have no chance for Kevin Durant. They're not really even going to be in the sweepstakes for him. So
facts.
he's going to have to go to a good team. The Nets probably aren't going to get this big package, the biggest package in NBA history that they're looking to get because they don't have much leverage in this situation. So I don't really like that part about free agency. A lot of people just saying a lot of crazy stuff. So that's why we're here, though, of course. So next up, we got. Does this change your opinion on Kevin Durant? I know you're more of the KD fan here, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and take this one first.
Um, I mean, it's definitely tough. It's tough because it's like when he made that move to Golden State, everybody has a different argument with that one. Some people say it's because of Westbrook. Um, some people say he took the coward way out. So it all depends on who you're talking to. But to answer the question, does it change my opinion? I feel like it has to a little bit. It definitely has to a little bit. Um, like even with the Golden State thing, like when him and Draymond got into an argument, instead of like just kind of talking that out and letting it be and continue to win and chase championships, it's kind of like he almost like shut down off that and just avoided the confrontation, like avoided the tough conversation and went elsewhere. Like
Right.
in Brooklyn, if he just stayed there, it wouldn't have been a tough conversation this year. It's like, oh, you and Kyrie fully healthy and together for a season. What y'all gonna do? But to then go and request a trade, I feel like the opinion definitely has to change a little bit, but you still can't discredit the man on the court. But for sure, it can change.
So it did change your opinion, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, a little bit. It did.
Okay. I'm gonna say it didn't really change my opinion because I haven't always been the biggest KD fan. Like when he had arguably his greatest series against the Bucks was last season when it was just him. Like a lot of people were saying he was the best player in the NBA, and like I just never really subscribed to that because I don't know. KD's never really been that guy to me. Like he's been that guy, but he's not like when you put him on a team, he might perform the best, but I don't think he's really going to be the leader of a team or anything like that. He's kind of like another Kawhi. Yeah, like he's kind of like another Kawhi for me. Like he leads by example on the court, but when like off the court and stuff like that, he's going to just kind of do his own thing, be in his own lane. He's not going to say too much. He's not going to hold people accountable, stuff like that. So, and I think that a lot of that goes into being the best player in the NBA and being a leader and things like that. So, it doesn't really change my opinion. And then after the whole Warriors thing, anything is up for grabs with KD, man. Like he's kind of just he's gonna do his own thing. He marched to the beat of his own drum type. So, it didn't really change my opinion on KD. To you, is this the biggest failed experiment in NBA history?
Honestly, you have to say yeah. You have to. If not the biggest, one of the biggest. I guess you could also throw in there when Brooklyn traded all that for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. But this right here is
This is
you
worse, dude.
you bring in KD, you bring in Kyrie, and you trade for James Harden, and they didn't even touch a conference finals at least.
Nope.
Of course, you could throw injuries in there, but at least with 2 out of those 3 guys, you should at least make the conference finals.
Right.
At
And
least.
I think especially this last season where it was Kyrie and KD fully healthy in the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
they had a pretty solid team around them, and then they got swept. Like it's just it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Now
Crazy.
that might have been even crazier. The fact that they got swept.
Yeah.
It would have been one thing if they lost in a tough 7-game series and Boston just earned it, but they just flat out got cooked. But
Yeah.
outside of game 1, it wasn't that competitive.
Right, exactly, and that's with KD and Kyrie, 100%. None of them really coming off any major injuries or anything like that. Like he's a year removed from his big leg injury, so like it's like I don't know. There was really no excuses in that situation.
Yeah. This was like a championship or bust type thing. It was a
Exactly.
championship or bust type thing, or at least make a finals. They couldn't even make the finals.
They couldn't make the conference final. They won one playoff series in 3 years, man. It's crazy to think about, for real. But last but not least, what we're going to talk about today is who do you blame most? Do you blame the Nets for this situation? Do you blame Kyrie? Do you blame KD for this situation? Talk to me.
Wow. Some of it though, some of it was out of control. Like
Yeah,
Kyrie hurting his ankle versus the Bucks.
right.
That
Harden.
was just like some unlucky stuff. Harden was hurt. He had a bad hamstring.
Right.
That was unlucky. Then this year, this year is tough to say. This year you could kind of put the blame on the Nets organization because it's like even though Kyrie was sitting out due to his stance and unwillingness to not get the vaccine, the Nets could have still just let him play in the away games from the beginning of the season and let him get into that rhythm. But just sitting them out completely, I feel like that definitely messed up their rhythm and it could have maybe altered their focus a little bit. So this year I would say more of the blame should be on the Nets. So I feel like everybody played their hand, but it's tough. Everybody has a part to play in this. Everybody has a part to play. So, oh man, because you can't really blame KD because he was out there performing.
I think KD has been probably the most consistent out of everybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's what KD's been the most consistent. Kyrie these past couple years has been injuries and then
off the court stuff as well.
Yeah.
He's working just because, like, he
Mhm.
went on that 11-day hiatus, and then there was a picture of him at a party. So it's like,
Right.
like it's a little bit on Kyrie too. But I kind of agree with it being on the Nets organization a little bit this year, as far as them saying that they didn't want anything to do with him being a part-time player, and then like 2 months later, when things are not going that well,
When it was getting rocky and Harden started taking off games and he went somewhere else.
And then that's when I think Harden really started like checking out mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when they were like, okay, we should probably bring Kyrie back. And then once they did that, they kind of lost all the leverage they had. And then, again, why I think they don't have any leverage. This is why you don't let players run your organization, man. Like, for real. I think that it is important to let players have some input, but like to the point where they kind of make every decision. Like they had the Nets coaching staff changed because of KD and Kyrie. Their players are completely different. I would much rather have Jared Allen than Nick Claxton and LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin and all these other people that they tried to make work. It's like you had a for sure option in Jared Allen from the beginning. And I think that they should have let that team rock out. And that's kind of when I realized the Nets probably weren't going to work when they did that trade for Jared Allen and then they got, Caris LeVert out of there. It was like, They honestly had something really good in that moment. They could have just built upon it, and they kind of just went from scratch and tried to build it from the ground up. And then when you got one dude being a part-time player trying to build a team at the same, it's just so much. And then they have a rookie coach at the same time. So like when they get in big issues in the playoffs, they don't have somebody that's like a rock that they can really like lean on, like Eric Spoelstra or even a Ime Udoka in this year in the playoffs. So
Facts.
it's just a mix of a lot of stuff. If I have to say who the most blame is on, though, I'm going to say Kyrie Irving if I have to pick anybody. But I think it's 60-40 Kyrie Irving in the organization. I'm going to say 60% Kyrie, 40% the organization because they let players run their organization, and that's not what you do as an organization. So, and this is what comes from that.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that.
You never say who you blame the most, though. You just
I'm definitely going with. I'll probably say Brooklyn. I'll probably say Brooklyn. I'm going like 70-30. Like actually like 65-35. 65 Brooklyn, 35% Kyrie.
Okay, I can respect that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's it for everything we had today. Is there anything else you wanted to comment on as far as this craziness going on with KD?
Just it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like NBA offseason. I feel like every time we do one of these, bro, like each year we be like, man, this is crazier than last year. Like each year we do this, it's crazier than last year. Like there's so much other stuff going on that of course we've been texting about and all that stuff that we got some whole other stuff coming on. So just keep staying tuned.
Oh yeah, we definitely got that overall NBA offseason video coming out. I don't know how long to wait though is the only issue because like I feel like because even like today I was kind of wanting to do it today and then like 30 minutes before we do the show, Rudy Gobert gets traded to the Timberwolves. So it's like we want to make sure we cover everything when we finally do it. So
I feel like at the latest by like midweek next week. Like
and then what if KD gets moved after that? So it's like we'll have to do another episode, like So I mean, I think probably mid time next week it'd be a good time to gauge everything and see. Have a decent amount of moves already done. But yeah, day one free agency has been crazy. Not even a whole day in the free agency. It's been
not even 48 hours in.
Not even 48 hours, bro. It's been insane, absolutely. But hope you guys liked the video, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Let me go ahead and throw the socials up here real quick. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram. And man, we on the road to 100 subscribers, man. We're almost there. Make sure you guys help us out with that. Like, comment, subscribe on the channel. And we got a overall free agency video coming at y'all sometime this week. So make sure y'all stay tuned. And yeah, we'll catch y'all on the flip, man. Thanks for watching.